is detained and any further trial that is coming up. We do head back to Europe though now, and the UK and France are all set to sign a new declaration. The two will declare that the nation's nuclear deterrence, while independent, can be coordinated and that they will jointly respond to any extreme threat to Europe. French President Emmanuel Macron will sign the agreement today as he wraps up his three-day state visit to the UK with a bilateral summit where the allies will reboot defence ties with a focus on joint missile development and nuclear cooperation. Moving now to Oceania, and Australia has unveiled a tough new plan to combat anti-Semitism. The report, led by Special Envoy Gillian Segal, recommends cutting funding to universities that fail to protect Jewish students. Visa applicants and non-citizens could be screened for extremist views. Segal said urgent action is needed after a sharp rise in anti-Semitic incidents since late 2023. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese welcomed the plan and promised action. The report calls for a report card system to grade universities and recommends terminating grants for anti-Semitic conduct. It also urges funding cuts for cultural groups that tolerate hate. Segal warned anti-Semitism has become normalised in academia. The plan calls for stronger policing, tougher online monitoring and immigration measures. Non-citizens involved in anti-Semitism may face deportation. The report follows a synagogue arson attack in Melbourne. The government says some measures could be implemented quickly, while others will need long-term efforts. Well, joining us to discuss this update that we have had from Australia, Jitat Jai Bardwaj, the Managing Director of the Australian Today, who's joining us from Melbourne. Jitat, thank you ever so much for being here with us. Let's first look at this news that we have broken. What's your initial thoughts on these statements and their potential ramifications?
See, we were waiting for it. 300% rise in last year or so in anti-Semitism in Australia. Synagogues being firebombed, restaurant owned by Jewish people being attacked. If Jewish students are unable to go to their schools without protection and guards, then the situation is really terrible in Australia. And this plan probably will address those issues and try to curtail the menace of anti-Semitism here in our country. And the Prime Minister Albanese have carefully chosen his words. However, other quarters have welcomed this plan. Universities Australia CEO has told us that yes, this is a welcome plan, and their 43 member universities will be deliberating over it, how to implement it, and what else they can do to support Jewish students to feel safe in universities. However, universities is one part of the problem here in Australia. The media is also to be blamed. Unlike other parts of the world, we are very tolerant, and we kind of try to accommodate as much views as possible. However, in doing so, in last year or so, almost 2 years, we have given vent to the views which are to be considered hateful in the lieu of freedom of speech. We have done that. It should be curbed, and especially the public broadcasters here in Australia have to change their ways. That's what I can say. I can also tell you that there will be a crackdown on people who are applying visas to Australia. Even if you have arrived in Australia and you have anti-Semitic views, you are portraying them in social media, you will be immediately deported. That's what the plan says. How much it will be implemented, it will be known in next coming weeks and days.
Yes, absolutely. Jitat, I want to look at this plan. Do you think it could cause divisions within Australian politics, with some supporters and potentially some who don't support it?
See, the view of present government is very balanced. Prime Minister Albanese has outlined very carefully that, our view is to support two-nation theory in Middle East. Hamas is a terrorist organization. If anybody supports the views of Hamas, should be treated as such. However, the Arabic Muslim community in Australia is more than welcome. They are part of us. Nobody should be pointing any finger towards them. At the same breath, Prime Minister also said that Jewish community should not feel alienated or targeted while we are doing the same. On the other side, the opposition party, Susan Ley, has come out and said that Prime Minister has to show some leadership on this issue. The division in community has been going on since long, and right now we are just responding day to day attacks on either of the community, which should not be the case. The case should be there should be a firm plan which we should work to deal with a multicultural society like Australia.
Yes, and Jitart, we are running shorter on time, but very briefly, this proposal is very similar to what Donald Trump was looking at in the United States. That, of course, had critics, certain institutions talking about free speech. Do you think a wider, not conflict maybe, but a wider dispute between universities and the government could come about, like we've seen in America, if this plan is enacted?
See, it's very difficult to say at this point in time what kind of conflicts emerge after seeing this plan in full. But as of now, the Universities Australia, the group of 43 universities in Australia, has welcomed this plan. Let's see how they will implement, how much they will be able to implement. But yes, some questions will be definitely raised on the lines you are saying.
Jitart Jai Bardwaj, thank you ever so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We now move over to North America and the July 4th devastation.